Hello, my name is Dean Contover, and this is The Current Buzz. Thank you for watching today. We're going to talk about travel. I have Penny Hamourgas. Hamourgas, yes, from Around the World Travel. They're in Lowell, Massachusetts on Market Street, if you're familiar with Lowell and Market Street. They've been there. How long have you been now, Penelope?
That location since 2009.
2009, okay. And their specialty is basically travel to Greece. Am I correct? Your specialty?
Greece and the Mediterranean.
And the Mediterranean.
Yes.
So does that include cruise ships and so forth?
It does. We do work most of our businesses with land bookings.
Okay.
But in Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and France.
Okay, the Mediterranean.
The Mediterranean.
Yeah. Basically. All right. I just want to tell you that I just got back from Greece, and Around World Travel helped me. And I said, why don't you come on my show? We'll talk about going to Greece, what you need to go to travel. It's pretty easy to travel these days. Everyone speaks English, and there's no problems in regards to travel. So next year, make your plans early. Would you say early?
Honestly, it depends. You make your plans early for the land arrangements. What we saw this year with airfare actually was that closer to the summertime, prices went down.
No kidding.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen that way, but it did this year.
Oh, okay. What you need is this. It's a passport. If you don't have the passport, right?
With 6-month validity from your return date. So just make sure it doesn't expire for at least 6 months from when you plan to return to the United States.
Okay. And make sure your passport's not expired. It takes a while now to get a passport, doesn't it? I mean,
6 to 8 weeks, and if you expedite, about a month.
About a month, yeah.
About a month.
I usually,
so it's not too long.
I usually request my passport in the wintertime because basically, you know, not a lot of people requested passports. But I mean, they facilitate passports quickly, but you have to pay more money. So, you know, just do it in the wintertime and it's easier. So you've been doing this for a while, right?
I have full-time for about 5 years right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like to go to Greece. I come in and say, I like to go to Greece. And you say, where do you want to go, right? Do you want to go to the islands or the mainland, right?
I'd say we start more so with more about how much time you have, who you are, who you're traveling with, what you like to do, sort of an overall tentative budget that you have in the back of your mind, because the islands are costlier than the mainland.
Okay.
And from there, we work on, after conversation, we work on a tentative proposal for you.
Okay. So I want to, usually would you suggest how many islands in 2 weeks, let's say somebody has 2 weeks?
It depends on the type of traveler. So we have just as many very active go style travelers who are looking to be in a different place every 2 days.
Okay. And there are people like that.
There are people like that, and if that's what they
go
want.
from island to island to island. We're talking about the Greek islands, and a lot of people are going there this year. A lot of movie stars go there. Tom Hanks has a house there and made it popular more or less. More people are going. And there are people from all over the world there. For some reason, they want to go to Greece. I mean, like that myself. So
I mean, who doesn't want to go to Greece?
Yeah, exactly. So Greece is, if you see pictures of Greece, that's what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like. It's usually, in my experience, and I've been to Greece a few times, the southern part and the islands are basically a flat roof, sort of adobe house type of deal, white, to reflect the sun, because it does get hot there. When I was there, they closed down the Acropolis in Athens because the heat was causing problems with people who don't understand the Mediterranean sun. I think that's what it is, because most of these people come from temperate climates, and you go into a semi-arid country, and the sun can beat the heck out of you.
For sure. I think that's something that a lot of travelers underestimate. And when they, especially if you are going to be in Athens or a major city in the middle of the summer, let's say June, July, August,
Right.
with these 100-degree plus temperatures, you should really avoid the middle of the day time.
Well, that's what the Greeks do.
That's what the Greeks do, and there's a reason
And
they do it.
they have a
You know,
siesta.
They have siesta. So morning, you want to get in all your sightseeing in the morning, and then late afternoon. In the Acropolis, they do it for people's safety. They do. It's been a few years where they close it typically from 12 to 6, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m.
Right. What would you suggest the best time? We left early June. A lot of the places were nice and cool. It was in the 80s, not like the 90s that it is usually in the summertime. So what's the best time to go, would you say? When do you go?
When do I go? I love October.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
That's kind of late,
May.
isn't it?
I was actually there in March this year. And it was almost 80 degrees. It was that week that I was there was amazing. So it really depends. Depends on what you're going to do. If you're going mostly for swimming and beaches and islands, then you do want to be at some point between, let's say, end of May to mid-September, I'd say. But if you're looking for more of a city adventure, not necessarily just laying on the beach and just being active and doing activities, I do like September, October. And I know it's hard for people that have children or, working around school schedules, but the ideal time is the off season, for sure.
The Greeks have a culture, evening culture. Everything's done in the evening when the sun sets. You'll see children running around at 10, 11 o'clock in the evening. And it's surprising to Americans to see that. And usually they go to dinner around 9 o'clock.
Around 9, yeah.
Around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's a night culture. You have to understand that's the way it is because of the sun. It's always been that way.
It's always been that way, and that's why midday siesta is so important.
Right.
These kids
In other words, get your things done in the morning, go to the hotel, have a drink, go to the pool, if there is a pool, and that'll cool you down, and you get a base for your skin if you're going to go to the islands. And then, this is my suggestion, then go out in the evening to see some sights or whatever, and go out to eat at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the day is essentially broken down into two parts. So you have that up until midday siesta.
Right.
And then after, from 6 p.m. and
Right.
on.
If you go to the islands, they do have cars there. You could rent scooters. You could rent, and there are people again all over the world who go to these places. So you'll bump it. I met a couple from Wyoming. I mean, they were in Greece, and it's too bad I didn't get to know them. We were leaving, they were coming. But that's what happens. You meet people, So let's talk about cruises. A lot of cruises originate in Italy and then go into the Aegean. I want a cruise just for the Aegean Sea.
They do. They have 3-4 day cruises. Celestial is a company that has good ones. Celebrity is another one.
Okay.
So they do have small.
Can I rent a yacht in Greece?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So it will be crewed, and you'll be fed.
Everything is taken care of.
And they will go to the islands that you want to go to for how long?
However long you want to go, whatever you want to do can be done, cost dependent.
Oh, okay. I stayed at a hotel called the Electra. This is the key to the Electra. It's not plastic, it's made out of wood. And it's a door key. And I was surprised it was made out of wood. I mean, they're way ahead.
They're way ahead of us. Way.
And on the airlines, I flew nonstop from Boston to Athens, 9.5 hours, easy,
Yeah.
right? And they have wooden cutlery. I asked them if I could have it, and they gave it to me. But this is what you're going to get on a flight. You're going to get wood, not plastic. It's back to wood again. So, is there anything that you would suggest for people to do and how to travel? I always tell people, pack light. All you need is a T-shirt and shorts, and that's it in the summertime. You might need a long pair of pants, and women may need evening gowns. Sometimes people dress up, especially the Northern Europeans go out and they dress.
They do.
And they do this. They dress this in their finest summer wear, but they do. And you could see them, especially from the northern countries. It's a big deal in the evening to go out.
It is. I would say one thing for the ladies.
Yeah.
I don't recommend high heels. So.
Oh yeah.
Flat.
There's a lot of steps involved.
A lot of steps.
A lot of steps.
You want to be able to move around freely. So all the women do dress up, but you don't see as many in heels and fancy shoes.
Yeah.
So that helps with packing.
I did see high heels.
Did you?
In Athens, this couple, you could tell she was an American because she was in high heels, and it's not conducive.
No, it's not. It's not. And you want to enjoy yourself.
And if you're going to wear sneakers, don't buy new sneakers because you're going to do a lot of walking. Make sure they're broken in and that type of thing, right? So should women take a hairdryer?
No, there's no need unless they're very particular about their hair dryer. It really depends on where you're staying.
Because, I mean, your hair dries in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't. Definitely not necessary in the
It's
summer.
not necessary to add that weight.
But women are different, So you might want to take a straightener.
Well, a lot of the hotels have hair dryers in them. So, I mean, the bathrooms. So there was something I was going to talk about. Don't get upset about how they drive in Athens or park their car.
No.
Don't get upset. The streets are kind of narrow. They're not as wide as the United States. People do walk in the streets in Athens. And of course, if there's a taxi or a car coming, you have to step on the sidewalk. But they do walk in the streets. Is there anything else we should talk about in the islands or Athens? Athens is the hub. Athens is the capital. Think of Athens as like Washington, D.C. or Ottawa, Canada. It's a hub for everybody. There's 5 million people living in Athens. Everybody, every male does military time. I found out how much they got paid, Penelope.
And how much is that?
20 euros.
That's it, huh?
That's it.
That's it.
Everybody has to do 9 months in the military. Everybody is drafted. And if you go there, ask the people who are serving you, whatever they're doing, if they did military time, and they'll be proud to tell you that they did, and they'll tell you exactly where. And it builds a bond with the people, I think, because it's an honorable thing to do, to go into the military, as you probably know. So we talked about, what about cancellation problems? If somebody may get sick or the family may have, they're committed to you, and how is that set up?
So this
insurance too.
Well, this is why we highly, highly, highly recommend that everybody purchase travel insurance to cover the entire cost of their trip, because that covers you from the moment you buy it. If anything happens to you or to a first-degree relative and you need to cancel your trip, you are eligible for 100% of your money back. Okay, so, and for those that always say, oh, I've never had to use it, that's the point of insurance. You hope that you don't have to use it, but if you do, let me tell you.
Especially if you plan a long trip and you're paying a lot of money.
It doesn't matter if you're paying. It doesn't matter what it is. If you've got a lot of money on the line, and we have seen, we could sit here and have a whole day on just what we've seen with sicknesses and deaths and accidents and whatever it may be. So buy insurance.
All right. This passport, you need a passport. I would suggest to make copies of the passport in regards to the picture, because the most important
Always.
thing is the passport number.
You always need a physical copy, and you can also keep, apart from your passport, you want a paper copy, and you can have an electronic copy as well.
Right.
Again, I could tell you stories, excuse me, of people that misplaced their passports during a layover before they were going to their final destination.
Right.
So you definitely want to have a physical copy of that.
Yeah, you have to remember, if you're in Athens at the embassy, I mean, they'll replace the passport, but probably they need the number of the passport, and they
Right.
also have to call Boston, which is a 7 hour difference. So, I mean, it causes problems. So I always carry my passport for identification all the time. You know, I mean, it's real important to do that. And when you get into the country, you know, they'll stamp your passport because it's a European Union nation, and you're good for any place in Europe.
Depends on how you get into the country. So if you fly direct, so
Okay.
your passport is stamped at your first
Okay,
point of entry.
I flew from Boston to Athens direct. Now,
That's
I was really surprised. I stepped up and they had a machine that did facial entry or facial whatever it is. It was all digital. I was like shocked. I mean, and then I figured it out. They have they scan your picture on the passport and they have it in some computer. And when you go up there, that's the reality. And the machine's right there, takes a picture of your face and approves you to move on. And it expedited
It does
the
it.
boarding. So that's what's coming, facial recognition. So is there anything else that we missed?
The only other thing that I want to say, because everybody talks about Athens and Santorini and Mykonos
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
Crete.
I've never been to Mykonos, I've never been to Santorini.
So and Athens is amazing, but there is a whole other part of Greece that is, especially that Americans still don't know as much about, and that's sort of northern Greece, where we have Thessaloniki, the second largest city behind Athens. Some of the islands up there, Skiathos, Skopelos, those are beautiful islands that not as many people go to.
Lesbos.
So
And Samos to a certain.
that's a great. That's close to Turkey.
Yeah.
Chios.
And even the Dodecanese Islands, where Rhodes is in the southeast part.
Yep.
Usually Americans don't go to those islands usually.
I mean, not as many, because if you have limited time,
Yeah.
you know, you typically do Athens, Mykonos, Santorini. That's what everybody's been doing, because that's what they heard that their friends did, and social media and whatever it may be. But there's so many beautiful parts of Greece that people aren't going to just yet. They're starting to. So I just don't want people to think that it's only that.
Yeah. What happens is you have to be careful in regards to your baggage, because you're flying from the United States to Athens, and if you want to go to some of the islands, they have small airports that only prop planes could go into. So you have to watch the weight on the prop planes. So you have to watch your baggage and your weight, because my daughter was 4 kilos over flying from Boston to Athens, and we had to take stuff out and throw stuff away. And
yeah, and it depends on depends on which airfare you purchase. So if it includes the checked bag.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's one checked bag, one over.
Depending on what you buy.
Yeah.
So you either pay for it up front or you pay for it after.
Yeah. So you're allowed one checked bag and one
50
carry-on.
pounds, yeah.
So I mean, you don't have to take a lot of stuff to Greece. I mean, it's lightweight stuff, white shirts, yellow shirts, shorts. That's it, basically.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I do, and if you can go, the other thing I just want to say before we close out, if you can go during more off times, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Okay, so October, November, March, April. Easter is amazing in Greece. It's not just about, Greece is a 365-day-a-year destination.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not just about, Christmas is beautiful. It's not just the summer and the islands.
I just thought of something. I flew Swissair to Switzerland and flew right into the islands.
Yeah.
Some of them
do
have
that.
some of them have jet air strips, 10,000 feet, whatever, that can handle jets. So it might behoove you. But then you miss Athens. Most people go to Athens to go to the Acropolis to see the Parthenon, and they go to the museum. They see the changing of the guard. They might go to the War Museum that goes back to.
Oh, there's
the
so much
Trojan
more
War.
in Athens
Yeah.
too. There's the Benaki Museum, the Stavros Niarchos Foundation, the National Gallery, the Art Gallery. So that's just in terms of the museums. There are areas where you can go see street art, Anafiotika, which has the beautiful hills near that central Athens location. There's so much that you can do, and I actually recommend, like, almost if you can do a city break tour in the fall or in the early spring. You can do like Athens, Thessaloniki. You can do all the cities.
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is you could take the subway from the new airport, which was built in 2004. You could take the subway right from the airport right into downtown
Right to
Athens.
downtown, yep. Nice
to
and
your
easy.
hotel. The beautiful hotels, beautiful breakfast in the morning. Everyone has a morning. Some of them have swimming pools, right? And most of the views of the Acropolis. They're facing the Acropolis. The restaurants are on top of the hotel, and you do the breakfast in the morning. You could do dinner in the evening or supper.
Right.
in
You don't
the
even
evening.
need to do lunch. No.
Yeah, you don't have to do lunch because, I mean, there's so much to do and so many nice people to meet. It's just one of those things. So let me see if I had anything. Tips, you don't have to tip that much. Don't tip 20%.
We recommend 5 to 10%.
Yeah, at the minimum. I mean,
People
2
ask that all
euros,
the time.
2 euros, 1 euro.
It depends.
And
It depends on your cost. It depends on the.
Yeah, remember, I mean, I know a woman, she's a secretary, she gets paid 700 euros in Greece. That's it. That's all she gets paid. And if you're an attorney in Greece, you get over what was it, over 1,000 euros. That's not a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they're desperate. So if you could tip them a little more, 10%, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it
know.
depends on if you're happy.
And the taxi drivers, and you have limo drivers that can pick you up at the airport. And
Transfer. We have transfer.
transfer, yeah. That's something we didn't talk
We have
about.
private transfers. We have shared transfers.
Okay.
It depends on
yeah,
what somebody's
and
looking
even on the islands, if you
Everywhere.
land on the plane, there'll be somebody with a sign with your name on it. Easy, and they take you to the hotel. They pick you up when you're leaving.
to do any activities, whatever you need. So if you're a do-it-yourself traveler and you just want certain components, we can help with that.
Yeah.
If you're looking for A to Z, everything to be done for you where you don't have to think about anything, we can do that. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, we're talking to Penelope from Around the World Travel in downtown Lowell. Contact them at 978-937-3424.
Our website is aroundtheworldtravel.com.
Okay.
And our email is team@aroundtheworldtravel.com.
Okay. Team.
So we can be found everywhere.
And if they're stuck in Greece, they can call you.
All the time. So we have one of our partners is in Greece, and another one is going to.
Oh, okay.
So we have people everywhere.
Okay, everywhere. So how many people working for you now?
Right now, that directly work for us, there are 6, and then we have our subcontractors that we work.
Oh,
with.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're thinking about going to Greece, definitely call Penelope, and she'll help you out for next year, right? You'll set up.
No, and this is why this goes back to what I keep trying to say. For this year.